Hello and welcome back to a new video on this channel. This is the first video in English, meaning it's a European football topic. We are right at the brink of the start of a new championship season, yes, the second tier of English football. And this is going to be an unbelievably interesting season when it comes to the championship. Hence why I've decided to make a video on my 2025-26 championship predictions. Let's get straight into it. In at number 24, I don't think we need to waste much time on this pick at all. It is Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, they have had the summer of nightmares. If you think Newcastle's summer has been bad, just have a look at Sheffield Wednesday's summer. They aren't allowed to spend any money for at least 3 transfer windows, and it's looking like it's going to be 4 at this moment in time. They've lost a couple of key players such as Josh Windass completely for free, all because their owner can't pay his bills on time, meaning the club is in a very precarious situation. And I mean, their young promising manager has also left, Gary Rowell. They've replaced him not all too adequately in my opinion. I think there's a lot of worries to be had for this Sheffield Wednesday team, and unfortunately it's 24th for me this season. In at number 23, I've decided to go with Oxford United. Now, Oxford is a, let's be completely honest, third tier club, especially when it comes to the playing squad. They did amazingly well to keep themselves in the league last season, and especially with a manager like Gary Rowett, actually anything is possible for a club like Oxford. But unfortunately, I think this is going to be an incredibly competitive and tight season in the second tier, so I unfortunately have Oxford second to bottom and going down as well. In 22nd place, and the last team that is going down, I've decided to go with Preston North End. Now, Preston fans, let me tell you a pretty depressing stat. Preston North End is the club who has picked up the most points in the championship without being relegated or promoted from it once, surpassing the 1,000 points mark a while ago. So I think that is, on the one hand, it's very consistent from Preston North End, but also it's probably a little boring, and a lot of Preston fans could use some excitement in their season. Unfortunately, the excitement I'm predicting for them is relegation scrap rather than a promotion push. I'm really sorry, Preston fans. In 21st, I've decided to go with Hull City. Now, originally I was planning to relegate Hull City to the third tier as well, which isn't something I like to do because I quite like Hull City as a team, but their owner is just a nutcase and he sacks managers left, right and center. It seemed like they would be penalized as well as Sheffield Wednesday, but so far so good for them, I suppose. Meaning they have been linked with the likes of Oliver McBurney, for example, who is a proven goal scorer at championship level. I look at this squad and I think this should be right about enough to keep them into the league. This, however, is Sergej Jakirovic's first season in second tier football or second tier English football, so he will take some time to adjust to the climate of English football, but I don't think he will get the time because he's most likely not finishing the end of the season. If you don't have a clue on how bad the managerial market has been over the last season for the championship, if you start the count at the start of last season, the championship has sacked a manager every 15 days or so, which is just genuinely insane. So that does need to stabilize and quiet down a lot over the coming months, years rather. In at number 20, you might have already seen I'm sporting their kit. It's Charlton Athletic. Now, this is the first team we're mentioning out of the 3 promoted sides, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. But Charlton was the team everyone expected the least of, and not only have they gone out and signed Kaminski, they've gone out and signed Kelman from QPR for I think 3.5 million. They've strengthened in a lot of positions, bought about 5 players for over £1 million, which is big investment by the Charlton owners. Pretty side note, I also really like their new home kit for this season, and it's not this one by the way. And the biggest one of all, Nathan Jones is such a good managerial appointment for Charlton Athletic. Proven at this level, I think he's going to get the best out of this squad, and I think Charlton will be just fine. In 19th, I've decided to continue the trend of Stoke City finishing lower and lower each season they are competing in the Championship. Last season they finished 18th, so it is only natural I predict them to finish 19th this time around. There was some excitement around Stoke at the start of the window, I think, but that's quickly faded away. Their most significant signing probably is Charlie Cresswell from West Ham, who is an experienced player and hopefully still has the legs to compete at this level. Apart from that, apparently Victor Johansen is leaving, which is a very good goalkeeper, so that's a big loss for the Potters fans. I don't know, I'm not all too hot on Stoke City right now. Let me know, Potters fans, do you agree with me or not? In 18th, another team who got promoted last season and staved off relegation quite comfortably in the end. It is Pompey, aka Portsmouth, and Portsmouth have done some interesting stuff, mainly bringing John Swift in on a free. If you don't know John Swift, he's basically, I'd say he's the Ilkay Gundogan of the Championship. A midfielder who is very intelligent, likes to arrive late in the box, but has especially had some great Championship seasons over the years, so he's definitely someone who knows the league. I don't think Portsmouth will come in any sort of danger of going down, and maybe they could even push a little further up the table. In 17th, one of the hardest to predict clubs in the Championship, full stop, I've decided to go with Blackburn Rovers, simply because as they are so impossible to predict, the one season they compete for promotion, the next season they compete against relegation, the season after they go back for promotion again. It's crazy, and they are losing some really big players again this summer, mainly Tyrese Dolan, for example, a winger who they are losing. And I don't think they have replaced him at all. Todd Cantwell probably is their most well-known and most significant player at this moment in time. I'm not all too hot on Blackburn. Now in at number 16, this is most likely going to come back and bite me in the ass. But remember, I'm recording this video before a ball is kicked, so there's still a lot of transfer business that needs to be done. I'm going with Wrexham in number 16. Now listen, this would be a great achievement for Wrexham. They have had promotion after promotion after promotion. Some stability would be fine. I doubt they'll be able to get into the Premier League straight away through these back-to-back promotions, but it gives you something to build upon a little further. It gives you time to adjust to the higher leagues of English football, to the high physicality of those leagues in English football. But they have made some amazing signings, mainly O'Brien. They've just announced Kiefer Moore as a signing. Connor Cody has come through the door. Those are some really great signings at Championship level. I just think the squad first of all needs to be a bit younger, because I think they're the third or second most oldest squad in the league, along with teams like Ipswich, who have a surprisingly old squad. And I think Derby's is also pretty old, but if you can bring some youth into that 11 as well as some more hungry players, I think there's a lot of fun to be had at this Wrexham team. Number 15, back-to-back Welsh clubs, and yes, I've decided to leave it out one more season before I think Wrexham will be the highest ranked Welsh team in the English footballing pyramid. I've decided to go with Swansea, mainly because I think maybe we should back their manager. Alan Sheehan left a pretty great impression, I think, with the fans at the end of last season, and there is an exciting project to go around at Swansea. Cameron Burgess is a very sound signing at Championship level. Vipotnik and Inusa could both be anything pretty much, but I mean, from what I've seen, I think both of them clearly are Championship quality, so that should be alright. I think the Swans just desperately need a goalkeeper at this point. Apart from that, they'll be absolutely fine. 15th in the league, no worry about relegation, no real push for promotion. In at number 14, it's that club of the crazy family, Watford from the Pottles. Well, one prediction for Watford, they'll probably go through about 4 to 5 coaches. Last season they didn't, they stuck with Cleverly, only to sack him in the end. So, I mean, it's really hard to learn an old dog new tricks, but there we go, I suppose. Apart from obviously their managerial situation, I think there's always some investment in Watford. This is the first season where they aren't a parachute club anymore, so it's really important they don't keep falling, but unfortunately for them that's exactly what I'm predicting for them. I think Iran Kunda could be a great signing, but Lusa is probably still likely to go. There is some work still to be done there. In at number 13, I've decided to go with Bristol City. I know Bristol finished in the playoffs last season. They got absolutely demolished by Sheffield United in those playoffs. I don't think that's going to do the confidence of the players any favors at all. So that's a very big one to keep in mind, in my opinion. But apart from that, I think they overperformed when it came to finishing into the playoffs. They improved a bit more upon each of the last seasons without really investing all too big in that squad. They have kept hold of the midfielders like Bird and Knight, which was very important for them. I think Atkinson is still there as well, but no real massive additions. I think it's going to be a backward step for Bristol. West Brom are in 12th position for me. Well, with the Baggies it's kind of the same story. They have decided to go with Ryan Mason as their manager, who is very unproven. I think that's a big risk to take. They have signed Nat Phillips at centre back, and that's really it for major investments from them, which is really surprising in my opinion, because I do feel there was a bit of work to do in this squad. Obviously now Armstrong has gone back to Southampton as well, because Southampton know he bangs at this level. I don't think there's too much to be positive about Baggies fans. I'm really sorry. In 11th, another playoff team who didn't get over the line last season and won't finish inside the playoff spots again this season in my opinion. I've decided to go with Coventry. Now, Coventry is a really interesting one, because on paper they aren't really much weaker than they were last season. They're most likely going to be losing Milan van Ewijk to Wolfsburg, but he's already kind of been replaced with Keane Kessler-Hayden from Aston Villa, who can play all across that back line. I just think Coventry have been there or thereabouts since so many of the last few seasons that eventually it does take a toll not getting over the line, and maybe this is a season where they take a step back, invest in the younger players in that squad, give them a bit more time to develop before selling on 1 or 2 bigger names and reinvesting that yet again and giving the promotion another real push next season. Number 10, the cheats of the championship, it is Leicester City. Yes, it does seem like they are getting what's coming to them, and I'm really sorry Leicester fans, it is exactly what has been coming to you. This comes from a Newcastle fan who has seen his club struggle with PSR a long time now, but when it comes to Leicester City, the moment you were suspected of breaches, you found a loophole which proved that, not the fact that you were innocent, but it proved that when the crimes that you committed were committed, you weren't a Premier League or a Championship side at the time, which is just all kinds of nonsense in my opinion. But I mean, they found the loophole. That loophole has now been tightened up, and Leicester are still in massive problems when it comes to their financial situation, hence why they've been handed a 9-point deduction by the Premier League. That will be carried over to the Championship, and the Championship is free to give them a penalty themselves, so it could be even more than 9 points. Apart from that, the squad just doesn't excite me at all. If El Kanous was to go, there is literally 0 saleable assets in this squad. Fatau is a great player, but is injury prone because we didn't get to see anything from him last season. Mavididi is just past that age where you want to sell him. Patson Daka is their only senior striker. Their midfield consists of Winks and Skip, which is just all kinds of vanilla meh. I'm really not hot on Leicester City. I think 10th might even be kind for them. Number 9, this is one of my surprising picks probably, but this is one I'm really backing because this quite clearly is one of the best run clubs at the moment in the Championship. It's QPR. Now, Queen's Park Rangers have done some interesting business, to say the least. I think Kwame Poku is such an underrated signing because it happened at the start of the window. People aren't really talking about it anymore, but just think of that attack. Think of a striker who has Kwame Poku, Elias Chair and Karamoke Dembele playing behind him. That's such an exciting attack for Championship level. I'm really looking forward to see how QPR will do. Unfortunately, it is a bit of a question mark how Julian Stéphan will do, because obviously Cifuentes has left them for Leicester City, but I think what a storyline would it be if QPR finished that one place above Leicester City, the club Martí Cifuentes left QPR for. In at number 8, another very well run club, which is an unbelievable contrast towards just a couple of seasons ago. But unfortunately I have them just missing out on the playoffs this season as well, meaning they will most likely just have to build upon what this season or the coming season will be for them. I decided to go with Derby County. Yes, who would have thought this soon in our lifetimes we would be speaking about a well-run Derby County. But the signings they have made, mainly Carlton Morris, who is just an absolutely freakishly good signing by them. I mean, he did just score 6 goals with Luton in last season's Championship, but I think last season was a write-off for any Luton player in the Championship because they were horrible. But he did score 11 in the Prem and 1 less goal than Victor Gyökeres did in his final season in the Championship for Luton before getting promoted. So this is clearly a bagsman who knows where the goal is. He is a very big target man. I think Derby are going to get a lot of joy out of playing with him. And obviously they've brought in Ryan Brewster as well on a free, who is a completely different profile of striker. I think that's great to have too, because now you have 2 different options to play 2 different types of ways and have more strings on your bow to pull the game towards you, basically. Number 7, the final team to just miss out on a shot at promotion via the playoffs, that is. I've decided to go with Middlesbrough, and that's simply because Middlesbrough are losing a lot of important facets of their game. Latela, I don't think he's been replaced at all at this point. Michael Carrick, I mean, you can laugh at Carrick all you want, but he was proving to be quite a capable manager at this level, and now they've really just got to go from scratch again. There's a lot of that squad still there, but the talks about Hayden Hackney aren't going away, and if he isn't moving to Ipswich, I believe he's most likely off to a Premier League club by the end of the window. So I think Middlesbrough just not strong enough to push yourself in that playoff contention. In at number 6, our first playoff team, meaning this is a side who will come to Wembley for at least the semi-finals against the 3rd position in the table. I've decided to go with Millwall. Now, Millwall is a very interesting club. This is a London-based club, so they have the resources to pull themselves towards the Premier League, but they've had such a great window in my opinion. If they can get the best out of Ivanovic like they did at the end of last season, I think he's going to be an incredible player for them. The addition of Doughty is such a great one because he is a Premier League quality left back, not a Championship quality left back. Macaulay Langstaff and Coburn are there. I think Massimo Luongo from Ipswich is a great option because he is a Championship proven midfielder who has bags of experience on him, so that's a great signing for Millwall. I am really hot on them and I think they will push all the way into playoffs. At number 5, I've decided to go with Norwich. Now, Norwich are a very interesting case because this is one of those teams we associate with being a yo-yo club, going up, going down, going up, going down. Now they haven't gone up in quite a while. This is the season where, as well as Watford, their parachute payments dry up, meaning it's kind of now or never, or at least now or a longer process due of rebuilding. Hence why they've signed Kjærgaard for 8 million, which is a very big signing and probably one in anticipation of Josh Sargent going. Borja Sainz has already left them, but we've seen them play without him for the second half of the season last year, so that shouldn't be too different from that. But yeah, on Kjærgaard, this is a striker who, I mean, they had to pay the 8 million to Brøndby, but he was loaned out to a Danish second tier team last season. So it is a big step to come into the Championship and fill his boots, but I'm backing him to do it. Norwich have shown they have quite good recruitment because they are always selling big anytime as well. And I think they can't stay out of the Premier League all too long, albeit I don't think they will get promoted this season. But a playoff shout, why not? I think everyone's top 4 is going to include about the same 4 teams, but in a different order, and my order starts probably the most basic way with Sheffield United in 4th. I mean, they have a great squad, especially for this level. I think Louis Barry is an exciting addition. I think Alblaster is still really good. Burrows is still really good. Tyrese Campbell, Sidney Peck, Gus Hamer, who's still there, Tom Cannon, who we really haven't seen the best of yet, or at least Blades fans haven't seen the best of yet. So I do think there is a lot to be positive there, but sacking Chris Wilder, bringing in someone like Ruben Selles, it's going to have an effect because Wilder is pretty much as old as the furniture there. So it is change to be had, and I think that's going to take its time to settle in. Along with the fact that I think that the 3 teams above them are just crazily strong this season. In at number 3, I decided to go with Ipswich. Ipswich most likely everybody's favorite to win the league, and I think their squad should be capable of winning the league. They've built unbelievably well over the last summer to prepare themselves for this championship summer. I mean, it's a championship super squad. Look at the likes of Jack Clark, Sammy Smodics, Leif Davis, Jacob Greaves, all players who have eaten up the league before, but they have lost their core in midfield. Morsi has gone now to Egypt, Luongo has gone to Millwall, as we've mentioned before. They have brought in Kajuste Mawisa, but that just needs an adjustment period. That's quite as simple, and I don't think the league will allow you the chance to have an adjustment period, and that's going to come back to bite them in the ass. So Ipswich 3rd from the playoffs, meaning the playoff fixtures will be Ipswich facing Millwall and Norwich facing Sheffield United. I reckon the final will then be Ipswich-Norwich, which would be absolutely fantastic. That's a derby. Okay, I really want that to happen. And I'm saying Ipswich get promoted, but imagine the scenes when we get an Ipswich-Norwich final for the championship, a playoff final. I don't think we're ready for those scenes. 2. Probably the most surprising and yet a least surprising pick at the same time. It's Birmingham. How can it be anyone else but Birmingham? Furuhashi for 10 million, Tommy Doyle, who is Premier League quality, let's be completely honest, Osei Samuel, they've brought in Damari Gray on a free, they've brought in so many players. They also were linked with Chuba Akpom, who's now going to Ipswich, or is at least having his medical with Ipswich. So you know there's going to be at least one more massive signing when it comes to Birmingham. I've bought into the documentary as well. There is some real ambition right there. And I'm so excited to see Birmingham back into the Premier League because, I mean, let's have it absolutely right. If it isn't this season, over the coming 3 seasons, we will see Birmingham back in the big time. But my number 1 is Southampton. Yes, maybe a pretty boring pick, but also, in my opinion, a pretty out there pick, given the fact that they finished rock bottom of the league last season. but I really can't get past the squad depth of Southampton. I think Will Still is going to be an absolute revelation as a Championship manager, but Cameron Archer is proven goal scorer at this level. Armstrong is there, Brereton Diaz is there, they brought in Manning. Tyler Dibbling is still there, who they could get massive money from Everton, as things seem right now. Apart from that, I mean, that's a really stacked attack. But the midfield for Championship level, Flynn Downs, Joe Aribo, Shea Charles, Will Smallbone, Mateus Fernandes is still there. They've just signed Matsuki. It's an unbelievably deep midfield, and I think every single one is going to struggle with this Southampton team. I think they'll walk the league. Anyway, those were my predictions for the 2025-26 Championship season. Please let me know your predictions as well as your thoughts on my predictions in the comment section below. Go follow me on Instagram, Ian Serneels, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. It does let me know you want to see more of this kind of content. Just one last reminder, this video was in English. Belgian and Dutch football content, or football content related to the Belgian and Dutch competitions, will be in Dutch, all the rest in English. I hope to see you at the next video. Bye.